Hello everyone and welcome back to Passion Sundays, the best way to end the week and start another. Our guest today is a coach that coaches coaches and experts on finding their self-worth in a way that allows them to charge enough money for it. Wouldn't you like to learn that? Satori, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure.
The first question I want to ask you is, what does passion mean to you?
Great question. So to me, it's the ability to be able to take everything that you have, that your inner resource, your gifts, and be able to express them in the world in a way that serves you and other people. And I think that the coolest thing with passion is that when you take the things that you love, the things that ignites you, that you're hungry for, that it brings a desire into your life, is that you allow other people to really get a real perspective on who you are and you sharing your gifts. And one of the things, we may come into that conversation, but I notice that people don't own that part.
Okay. And how did you end up doing what you're doing then? Is that why? Because you noticed people did not own it? Or did you have a challenge that you went through that made you get into that?
Great question. Actually, when I was 21 years old, I was living in Stockholm, Sweden, and I was sitting, I had gone through a very high point in my life, but also a very low point at the same time. And I remember one night specifically that led up to it, and I was sitting there literally planning to commit suicide. And so that was, in comparison to what I do today, it's kind of like the lowest of the low. Like I didn't see it that I had any worth.
So you were thinking or planning?
No, I was planning.
You're actually planning?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like, I was the low part of my, like I pictured myself having no worth. And then I realized that, learning other things that I've learned, first of all, I was too scared to do it, too chicken. Is that of all the low points, there's also a high point. So I look at, the law of polarity, you always have two sides. And so today I teach the other end of the spectrum.
Wow.
But the way I look at it is that, I look at worth, you have a base, and then most people, they minimize. The moment you look at other people, say, oh, look at them, they're so inspiring, they have this and that. The moment you do that, you put them on a pedestal and you're minimizing, you're undervaluing yourself. The moment you undervalue and minimize yourself, your self-worth goes down. And as you do that, you won't share your gifts, you won't own your value, you won't charge what you're worth, and you won't have the kind of, if it's a business, you won't have the business you want. So the moment I help you to own your value and own your worth, then everything happens. Your self-worth goes up, your ability to contribute to other people's worth goes up, and your net worth goes up.
I love that.
And it changes everything.
And how does passion bring self-worth, or how does self-worth allow people to live passion? Which comes first?
Good question. So I look at when you have low self-worth, is that you're not inspired from within to actually apply the things you're passionate about. The moment your self-worth goes up, and through the ability, I look at it as, just trying to do this visual here with my hands, but when you have two emotional charges, whether it's positive or negative, they're both running you, they're owning you. And the moment you bring it to the center, which I call unconditional love, you're raising your self-worth. And then you're able to express your passion. And when you do that, your ability to contribute to other people and to the world and to yourself, it just expands massively, because you're able to express your self-worth through your passion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And then how do you find passion when times are tough? It's very easy for everybody to say, well, this is nice, this is here. But when you've got so much of the negative charge coming from even outside the world, and it's pushing you down and getting you to that point where you're planning to commit suicide,
yes,
and you turn around and find passion in that moment, what's the secret?
Yeah, good question. I look at, we all have something that we want more than anything else. It may be muddled. We may not see. We may not be clear about what it is. But I think that what most people make the mistake of is that they are so conditioned to think that I should do this, I ought to do this, I need to do this, and they're literally taking on other people's values, not their own. So I look at it, if you think about something that you do naturally, like having this conversation, talking about passion, it's something like that. Nobody has to motivate you or push you or remind you of it. It just flows naturally. So I look at that as being inspired from within rather than having been pushed from the outside. And that inspiration that comes from within becomes your passion as it's expressed.
But it's very challenging to find that when you're buried under so much
Right.
How can you actually dig deep to find it
Yeah.
in a moment when you don't have clarity? Because when you're in clarity, you know where it is. But when you're in a point when you're so low, it's not that easy.
Right. So, great question. So that's why, even when I was showing this with putting people on pedestal, I look at when you're in the unconditional love place, you have balance. You see both perspectives. You see both sides, the positive and the negative, equally.
Okay.
And so then you have balance. But most people do, when they are in that down place, is that they only see drawbacks. They don't only see the drawbacks and the negative. They don't see any upside or any benefits.
Okay.
So I literally do as a specific assignment for people when they're at the lowest, is that it's not a question of whether there are benefits. It's just that they're only seeing the drawbacks.
So what you mean is basically just turn our gaze into what's working versus what's not working.
So the question really is, what are the benefits in the situation? And most people in that moment will say, there's no benefits. The question is not, are there benefits? The question is, what are they?
Okay,
And
I see.
if you get asking, what are the benefits? And what I look at to do is you look for a minimum of 25 to 30 or even 200 benefits. And when you start doing that, you're equilibrating your nervous system. You literally feel the balance shifting in your nervous system.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
a very powerful assignment. When you do it.
I love it. And that comes from being passionate, or even if you're not passionate, the process works.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the truth is that that's when you allow your passion to come through.
Okay.
See, when you are seeing more drawbacks than benefits, you can't allow your passion to come
You're
through.
burying your passion in a way with your own hands.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's not, the pressure is not on the passion sometimes, it's just follow the process to help the passion also.
Yes, because once you neutralize it, once you dissolve the emotional charge that pulls you down, then you come into this place where now I can see again.
Okay.
And then I believe that every human being on this planet has passion naturally.
Okay.
And so when you come to this point, then passion comes and flows.
I love it. Let the passion flow.
Yes.
What an awesome way to end the episode. Thank you very much, Satori, for
Thank
being
you.
here with us
Appreciate
today.
it. Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Passion! I hope you found this episode as useful as I did. If so, leave your comments below and share it on social media platforms. And if you'd like more tools, tips, techniques, and exclusive interviews that I only put on my website, go to moustafa.com. Until next episode, live passionately.